Sanato Tijarat talks.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. If I can ask everyone, just as a housekeeping rule, to mute your mic and also to have your cameras turned off. So saying welcome to another Sanato Tijarat talks. Today we have with us Daimur Malik Sahib, who is a chartered member of the UK's Chartered Institute for Securities and Investments. He has over 20 years of experience at firms such as BlackRock and Aegon Asset Management. He specializes in property, pensions, and stock market investing and is dedicated to making financial education practical and accessible. The Mursab also frequently speaks at universities, charities, and professional forums on simple, structured financial planning. And today's talk will be on should you pay off your debts or invest instead. So we're very lucky to have Dem Mursal with us today. He has a breadth of knowledge in this field. I think it's a topic not everyone thinks about, whether the benefit of paying debts versus investing instead. But it's a very interesting topic, and I think people who are financial savvy, who do know a lot about these things, do tend to be aware of things like this. So thank you, Jazakallah Dem Mursal, for presenting this very useful topic for us, and I'll hand over to you.
Ji, Jazakallah Shweb Saab for very kind introduction, and I would like to welcome everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Great to see you all here tonight. I hope more people will be joining soon. Just before we're gonna dive into today's subject, or before I share my slides, I just wanted to see if you can members joining can message in the chat to say where they are joining from, cities, Jamaats, just words, so we can see, mashallah, where they are coming from. And also this session is going to be a little bit of interactive, and that will just give us a rehearsal and opportunity to make sure that we are able to respond. And feel free to type in the chat. जी माशाल्लाह, शहजाद साहब, शेफील्ड, बिलाल साहब, रेडियल जमात, वाटफोर्ड, ग्रंजी, ग्लासगो, माशाल्लाह, इसान साहब, डोनकास्टर, अस्सलाम वालेकुम खालिद साहब, घाना as well, माशाल्लाह, बैतुल इसान, Crawley, mashallah, that's great. Oxford, mashallah ji, jazakallah for the response, and we will continue to interact through the chat. So before I start my presentation, just a quick recap that I have came to UK about 22 years ago from Pakistan in 2004 to complete my postgraduate degree. And initially I was in London and I studied at University of London. And would like all the brothers, or all of you, and anyone who has migrated in the past, I have big ambitions to complete my degree, find a good job here, and settle and have a peaceful life like all of us brothers and sisters want in the UK. And with the grace of Allah, within 4 years of arriving, I was able to complete my degree. I was with world largest investment manager, BlackRock. That brought me to Edinburgh. And I was able to get my home as well, got married as well at that stage. So Alhamdulillah, Allah was very kind in the beginning, and I was able to achieve my goals. However, Allah Ta'ala has promised us that He will test us through blessings and also test us through challenges. And when everything was going right for me, then in 2010, as we are aware, the global financial crisis came in. One day I was called in the meeting room by HR, and I was told that my job is no longer there. And not only that, within a couple of weeks, I had a spinal injury. So just matter of few weeks time, I had no job. and I was without health, bedbound 4 months. And this was a shocking period for me. And at that time, I realized that the extent of the issue for myself is that I never realized before is with the debts. So when I came here, I didn't have a money. So I got a personal loan to complete my studies. Then when I found a job in Edinburgh, I was able to secure a mortgage. So I got the mortgage at that time, and the properties were very expensive. And so I got very expensive mortgage at that stage. And then it didn't stop there. I had a personal loans as well. And unfortunately, at that stage, I got the car finance. So I was thinking this is the way to really fast track the progress and settle down. However, 2010's reality really shook me from head to toe. And I learned very hard way that I have didn't realize I have built a massive debt at that stage and I have no way to service it. So fast forward today, Alhamdulillah, I have learned my lesson. I've been in the industry for 20 years, and that time has prompted the questions I'm going to be sharing with you is how I can basically stabilize myself in this country and how I'm going to be earning and how if I get the health back, how I can sustain my health and I can do better things in life. So our if we look at our parents have worked incredibly hard and they were in the different country. If, for example, my parents have been in Pakistan and they were not exposed to the credit culture of the Britain or West, the student loans, the credit cards, the pension. So that's what I have inherited as well. And then have to learn hard way. So tonight, we are going to tackle one big question that I had in mind at that stage, and I'm going to share with you my findings, which is about should we pay off our debts or should we invest? So let me share my slides. I hope everyone can see my slides. Yeah. So should you pay off your debts or invest if you have a money? Which is a better path towards the financial security and prosperity? Before I begin, I like to say that the content I'm sharing in this presentation is just for educational purposes and for guidance and personal experience. It's not a financial advice. So I'm not advising anything to any member how they should manage their money, right? But we are very happy to answer the questions and try to guide you. And I have put down the resources for all of the brothers that you can consult, including Hazur Ayyadallah bin Nasr al-Aziz's guidance towards how we should think through financial matters and investments. And what I'm going to share is what I have learned over the year, the mistakes I have made, and how I have recovered. And all of us, before making any financial decision, should take a financial advice. I hope that's okay. So first of all, I like to ask members who are joined that the simple question. Let's say right now, tonight, someone drops a 10,000 pound in your bank account. What are you going to do with that money? So you can just type a letter in the chat just to say you're going to pay off debts or you're going to think about investing. You're going to keep it in bank or maybe do something else. So feel free to type in the chat. So mashallah, a lot of responses are coming. And mashallah, many brothers are saying paying off debt, maybe doing the both things, maybe doing investments. Mashallah, mashallah. So there is no right and wrong answer. We all have different priorities and preferences. Visa was saying starting a business, mashallah, really great idea and great plan. Jazakallah. So as we can see that there is a lot of emphasis more on investments and then also clearing the debts and business as well. So there is no right and wrong answer here. And we will explore these things further. So how I want to start is, before we dive into the numbers and strategies, I like to share the hadith. The Prophet, peace be upon him, said that the rewards are according to our intentions, and everyone will get the reward for what he is intended. This hadith reminds us that today's session, or the way I take it, is not just a personal finance management presentation. It's also very important to understand why we are taking debts, or why we are investing, or why we are investing in a business. What is our intention? Why we want to build that thing? Is it to provide for our family, to help our community, to have freedom to worship, or to have more time available to contribute in various charitable causes, or maybe giving an opportunity for our children that we never had or our parents never had? So the way I like to help ourselves answer the question whether we should pay debts or invest is helping you to think the answer in three questions. By answering these three questions, we should be able to make a better and informed decisions whether we should pay off our debts or invest. So first of all, the first question is, are you aware that the debts can do good or debts can do bad? It's just like a fire. The fire can help and warm our houses. We can cook food as well, but it can also uh, cause damage as well and can harm, right? So same way, the first thing is the debts you wanted to pay, are those good debts or bad debts? Is that something that you have came across before? You can type in chat yes or no. What are the good debts and what are the bad debts? Right. So I'll explain a little bit about it, what I mean by good debts and bad debts. So for example, we all need a shelter, we need a home, and then we have to get mortgages. Most of us who have our own home, we have one kind of loan which is called mortgages. And likewise, if we have studied, myself as well, or we are helping our children, most likely, unless they are working uh, smartly, they need to have a student loans for 4-year degree or postgraduate. And similarly, a good debt example is when we need a business loan that is helping to create a value for others and for our family as well. And likewise, bad debts are like credit cards, payday loans, and personal loans. So it's important to know what kind of debt you are dealing with that you want to pay off. So I like to dive into further into good and bad debts. So this is more coming from the financial perspective. Generally, in the financial terms, if you have a debt where you are paying less than 5%, um, is normally something that considered to compare against other options, that what you can do rather than paying off your debts. Likewise, and examples are home mortgage, maybe student loans, business loans as well, although the interest rates are going up, so it might be challenged to find something there. Secondly, 6 to 10% loans. You might have loans like car financing, maybe a business loan, or some other type of loan. These are to watch carefully and prioritize if you want to pay them off. And the most lookout debts that you want to look for is where you are paying more than 10% on APR. It could be credit card loans, it could be payday loans. Those are just going to be your first priority to pay off immediately if you have to prioritize among your debts. So just to illustrate the example, what I mean by good and bad debts and what about the percentages. So think about it, how fast that your debt will grow if you have a 10,000 pound of debt at 5%, 10%, or 20%. How long, how many years it will take it to compound into 20,000. Have a think about it. So if you have a loan that is charging 5%, it will become double in 14 years if you are doing a minimum payment or interest only payments. If a loan is charging 10%, it will double in 7 years. Whereas a loan like payday or credit card loans, which could be lower than this, 20% or higher than this, it will double within 4 years. And that is really the reason which even uh, Einstein has said that the compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. The one who understand it, earns it, and who don't will pay for it. And that's why most of us, including myself, were in big trouble with the debts because we are never been educated how to manage debts, although some debts become necessary to in our life. So this is just to illustrate the example for that. The second question we need to answer is, do we have savings to cover our emergency needs? If we look at in financial terms, it is generally advised, which even Hazur Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz also advises us, that we all should have 3 months of food needs and food stuff in our homes. And that principle also goes into the financial world, is when you speak to a professional and you are looking at the financial planning, it's very important to have 3 to 6 years of your month's expenses available as savings. So when there is a emergency comes in, maybe a boiler breakdown, a car breakdown, or there is you need to send off money somewhere, a, that time, that moment, because we are worried when we have a challenge, this is the moment when we acquire more bad debts. If we have a savings or emergency fund available, it will help us to breathe and think and make better decisions. And that's why before deciding whether we should pay debts or invest, we should build up our emergency fund or savings at least to cover it. And also it will help us to breathe and think if we lose our job or there is an issue with COVID, your business, like things happen during the COVID period. The third thing is, in order to decide if you want to invest, is why I really want to invest. And to answer that, it is important to know our intentions. As I've shared the hadith before, and Hazur Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasr al-Aziz also shared in a question answer session, that when we are thinking about investing, the one parameter or guiding principle is to look at our intentions, why we want to invest. I will share in the resources of Q&A session from Hazur's answer, which has beautifully explained when we think about investment, what are the guiding principles and what are our goals. The other thing is, what is our risk appetite? Someone who is young, maybe in 20s, 30s, they have 20, 30 years ahead of them of their thinking professional career. Their risk appetite could be higher than someone who is in 50s or retiring. Their risk appetite will be lower. This will eventually translate into what kind of area you can go for investment. And thirdly, relating to the second question is how long I have. So it is generally considered that if you need a money before 5 years, it's not worth investing because market is going to fluctuate, stock markets. So if your time horizon is more than 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, then it is worth to consider that alongside your intentions, goals, and risk appetite. Once you have decided those things, what are the common investment types that you can consider? So here is a slide, a little busy slide, but I'll summarize it in a way that when we think about stock market investment, it provides various asset classes. If you think about that, there are homes, which is a property, that's a one asset type. The gold or silver is one asset type. Commercial property is another type, and global shares, global companies shares, technology company shares, UK companies shares. All of these have a different uh, risk profile. And this data is basically from Office of National Statistics UK and also from the Hargreaves Lansdowne, which is one of the investment platform. So what is telling us that if someone has invested £10,000 23 years ago, then if we have invested in global share versus UK or residential property, that's how much in the second column it translates into in 23 years based on the past performance. We don't know how the stock market will perform in the future, but we can only look at the history. And also the last line shows the historic inflation rate, which is around 2%, which means if we keep money in the bank, our money value will drop by 2% every year. And that's what cause, that's inflation, and that will also cause why the prices go up every year. So although in the last column, you can see the average return of these different types have 1% difference, maybe, or less than that. But in the long term, it make a huge difference. So £10,000 invested 23 years ago into global shares will result into 500% increase or 400 and 300 in property, which we all are very familiar, and gold as well. Now the question comes, are there actually Sharia compliant products available? So I will not go in deep into that one because Dr. Wasim Khan Saab, who is in the same team as I am in Sanato Tijarat, has done a wonderful presentation last month on this whole Islamic investments. And I would highly recommend you to watch that one if you haven't seen it. He has explained it in the full session, and I would leave you to do that. I have included the link to Wasim Khan Saab's session recording in my resources. You can take it from there. Now, because we have only short time and I wanted to give more time for the question answers, and please do write your questions in the chat as we go along. If you have a question about this slide or previous slides, keep writing it. In the end, we will go through the questions. So far we have looked at how to evaluate whether we should pay off debts or we should invest. There are three questions to answer. One is that what kind of debts we got and whether it is worth to pay them back slowly or pay them really fast and get rid of them. The second thing is, have we built emergency funds? Because that way, that is what can help us immensely, because generally we accumulate bad debts when we are in a deep need, because those are the only type of loans available to us, and we can spend on credit card or maybe get a personal loan or get a payday loans. any type of good loans, if things are going tough, they will not give money like a business loan, mortgages, any other type of things as well. It's just not easy to access when things are wrong. And that's why emergency funds are very important. Thirdly, whether we should invest, we should look at why I'm investing in, what is my risk appetite, and how long I want to invest for. So I want to share with you a case study that will put all these concepts into a little bit of context. So let's assume we are taking a hypothetical case study of MSOB, and he is also wondering whether he should pay off or invest. So MSOB, the household income is 50,000 a year, which means the take-home salary is 3,300 roughly. These are all just for illustration purposes, and numbers can be actually your own situation can be different. But hopefully that will help you to see how to take step-by-step decision. And MSOB is able to see that he can spare 300 pound every month, and he can pay off mortgage quicker. So he has a just standard UK home, which roughly valued at 250,000, and he paid a 10% deposit, which means he has a mortgage of 225,000. And we are assuming that the mortgage interest rate, which are now around 5% or 6%. Also, he's aware that the global shares or global funds can give a return about 8.2%. And he thinks that he has 25 years to think about either paying off his mortgage or to start doing some financial planning for the family. So let's look at the two decisions and how he go through that process. So MSOB has a friend who happened to be financial professional, and he discussed with him that this is what he is thinking. He can spare 300 pound a month. Is it better to pay off his mortgage quicker, or should he invest? So during the fact finding, they see that if MSR put 300 pound extra to mortgage, he will be able to pay off his mortgage in addition to what the repayment he's already doing within 15, 16 years time. And by that time, because of inflation and as house prices are growing, the house, that house will worth about 400,000, 1,200. And if he want to focus then on start investing, he can start doing it. And for that 10 years, by investing 300 pound, then it will be roughly, these are just illustration purposes based on the investment performance and also the 3% of market annual growth, right? So his pension port might be around 34,000. And if he has put investment account for kids as well, ISA, for example, that might accumulate to 27,000. However, path B is he start investing alongside paying. So if he decide to put half money into his pension, which is 150 pound, and then he put 150 pound in a children account because it might help when they need money for their education, or maybe when they're getting married, or getting the deposit for their home, and the other reasons you might have for it. You want to increase your charitable contributions. In this case, in 15 year, the house will worth same, but MSR will have 180,000 mortgage because he hasn't paid. He has diverted that 300 pound to paying more towards his pension and more towards children investment account. And that will take his pension in 15 years to about 65,000, whereas children investment account might accumulate based on the assumed market performance to 52,000. And at this point, interestingly, we can see that path A is better route because in the net, Amasab in path B has more debt, and that's why his net performance of his investment and where he has committed his 300 pound is better with the path A. However, if we go to the next row and we see that in path A, Amasab has started investing 300 pounds after 15 years up to 25 year. This is what he get in pension and children's ISA account, whereas he is still investing 300 pound. And by that time, in both cases, in this case as well, he has paid off his mortgage because he was doing the normal 25-year remortgage payment. And in the end, his pension is about 177,000 and his children's account is 142,000. So that's the total. If we look at the value of path A and path 2 based on our assumptions, 585,000 if he takes the path A, or 842,000, 42,000 value in 25 years. Now, that is a difference of nearly 250,000 more in growth with same 300 pound monthly effort without actually adding any more money, earning more money. And this is the result of choosing path A or path B. It doesn't mean that path A is worse off or the path B is better off. It will come down to the choice. What is the intention? Maybe Amasab intention is peace of mind. He don't want to worry about stock markets going up and down, and he is happy with the path A. But with going through this exercise with his professional friend, he was able to see what it looks like for the both options, and he can make much more informed decision about it. And this is just for illustration purposes. It's not an advice that we should all go and start investing in pension and mortgages. We should carry out a professional advice before doing so. And can you make a guess why in path B has given more value in the end than path A? What is basically the reason? It's the same amount of money that he could dedicate to the path A or path B. Think about it. So the main difference is coming from the performance differences between real estate market and stock market. That's the one thing, because we have seen the real estate market probably perform 5 to 6%, whereas investing in global funds or Sharia compliant funds as well can give a better return, 2%, 3%. That's the one difference. The second major difference is that in path B case, the compounding has happened for 25 years versus just 15 years. So these are simple financial principles, and that's why Einstein has called it eighth wonder of the world. Is one who understands it, they get a better outcome from that. Understanding the risk and reward side of, and we cannot predict how the future will be. All we can do is look at how the markets have been in the past. So just to summarize what we have discussed today, just trying to switch off this laser pen if I can. Right, so the first thing is to clarify our intention and pray to Allah that Allah guide us, because what our intentions are. And secondly, try to answer these three questions that I've shared with you. Thirdly, I'm going to share in the last slide QR code, and the link will be shared as well in the chat. Please go and have a look. If I have a time, I will walk you through. It's basically linked to the video recordings of Azur Riyadullah bin Nasr al-Aziz response to the question about investing. Also, the recorded sessions of Mia Mansoor Manan Saab, who is our team lead. He has done a great session on the explaining the Islamic principles, finance principles. And likewise, Dr. Wasim Khan Saab, who is also in my team in Sanato Tijarat, he has done a great talk explaining the Sharia compliant investments concepts. And there are other previous session recordings as well. So just to make it easier, it's just all at one place. It may take you a lunchtime for a week, or maybe it's a weekend. I would highly recommend you to go through these resources because this will enable you and answer 70-80% of your questions that you might have. And also, it will help you to make much more informed decisions about your choices. And also, it will give you more confidence by having that knowledge. And very, very importantly, one thing I have learned through my experience is we all need to learn, and learning is emphasized high in our religion as well. So we continue to educate ourselves. Our education doesn't stop when we come out of university. It stays with us until last breath, and that help us immensely in many ways and manifold. And finally, seek professional advice because these are financial matters, and the whole investment and debts and financial matters are regulated areas in the UK. It's better to take a professional advice than just making a guess or looking at YouTube or TikTok and trying to make a decision based on that. And that's my final slide is I want to thank everyone who has joined. And I just going to summarize to three things. Our we are here today because of the incredible hard work that our parents and grandparents have done, and with the prayers of our prayers they have done, and with the blessings of Allah, we all are here. And it's not just a question about whether we want to invest or pay off our debt. What exactly big purpose it going to help us to do? That is a bigger question. Secondly, what is the intention behind it? For example, for me, it is about helping others, helping children in their journeys, and also freeing up my time so I can do more things and I can dedicate more times for financial education, which I do through Jamaat platform as well, and outside as well. I wanted to dedicate more and more time to that cause. It's only possible if I can free up my time and my financial needs are taken care. The other thing is that we should keep in mind that these are worldly matters, and if we keep in mind that Allah Ta'ala is our Razik, and He is the one who is going to give us resources as He has helped us so far, then that will help us to detach ourselves from worrying too much about financial issues. And that is what I remind myself as well. If all the decisions I have made have gone wrong and I have to start again in 15 years' time, inshallah ta'ala, I have a better place now than I was in 15 years mentally to start again as well if everything goes to flat face. But because I understand that it's Allah Ta'ala who is Razik for all of us, and we should have the strong faith. So Jazakallah, here are the QR code if you want to take it. There is also a link there which will be shared in the chat. And let's see what questions you all have. And Jazakallah for this opportunity to share thoughts with you all.
Jazakallah Taimur Saab. Thank you for a very interesting and very engaging presentation. I think some things I took from there myself as well. So I like the fact that you shared a personal story. I think a lot of the other members appreciated that you shared your own personal circumstances and think things that we can relate to. Someone who's migrated here from Pakistan, just like a lot of the other brothers have as well, who landed yourself in a bit of trouble, but to share how you then come out of this is it's very interesting to listen to. I think this is something that impacts us all, so it's good to know that people win. Not everyone's alone. These things, these mistakes can be made by anyone. I think the examples you gave were very useful as well, and it would help certainly me as well, and I'm sure a lot of others get people thinking about what to do in these circumstances. So yeah, overall, I think very good session, and I'm sure the people have enjoyed it as well. So I've been noting down the questions that people have been asking whilst you were doing the talk. If any member has any more questions, then please continue to put them in the chat, and we'll get to them. So one of the first questions. I would certainly find this one difficult to respond to. I'll leave it to you then, Mursab. So they've asked, in this society, everything runs on debt. The currency itself is a debt, as it is fiat-based currency. So how can society be free from debt if everything we do in this society is practically debt-based?
Ji, Jazakallah. I'm not very qualified to answer this question. All I can share is my personal view. If Mia Mansoor Saab is here or Dr. Wasim Saab is here, they can also chip in to answer this question because it's quite a broad question. To me, I think Mansoor Manan Saab also shared in his talk about when the Islamic principles were establishing during the Khulafas period, they have taken the whatever the norms were at that stage and built from there on. So and that applies to me is look at the what things I can control for myself, what things are out of my control, what happens in elections, what government policies comes, what budget they make. We are living in and breathing in this Western society, which is credit based. Unfortunately, which we don't want, but our needs and wants are best way to make a judgment on it. We need to make sure what our intentions are, which was the premises of my talk is what is the reason we are taking, if we have to go in that direction. If I have a choice today, I will, without thinking, gonna come out of all my debts. But is it practical at this stage against my wish? I don't think yet, but I would love to come out of my debts as well. This is a society we are living in, so we have try our best to.
Yeah,
We have to adopt, see what our needs are, and stick with our needs only. Not goes into the wants, and not try to expand ourselves too much with the interest system from that perspective. And when possible, come out of it. Uh,
Jazakallah.
I would say
Jazakallah. Just to let you know, we've also Wasim Saab and Khalid Mahmood Saab. We've also made you co-host as well, and Mia Mansoor Renan Saab as well, just in case you need to.
right.
Jazakallah.
Is there anything, Mansoor Saab, Khalid Saab, or Wasim Saab you'd like to add briefly?
Yeah, I would just like to clarify one thing that it's when we take the decision about whether we should pay off our loans or investing. I mean, there is a life cycle. Normally, right, when we start off working and then buy a house and start building up a family, you're likely to be in debt, and therefore, I mean, that's the general situation. And as you go through middle life, etc., you start building up. You have enough income, your children are grown. Apart from the fact that you get hit with the degree, the fees for sending your children to universities. Other than that, right, you start building up capital, and later on in life, you should have enough capital for investing. The question is, as you pointed out earlier, right, is that if you take a decision over a long time, and this is very important when we look at whether we should invest or pay our debts or what kind of investment we should make, it should always be a very long-term decision, because day trading or short-term decision are not going to pay off. There's well, Musa, I think you probably know random walk theory, uh, which investment gurus used to relate to, which says that if you over a long period, maybe 25 years or what, if you try to pick stocks, right, do all the analysis and everything, and try to pick what stocks you should invest in, and the answer you will get, the results you'll get are probably likely to be more likely to be same or similar to if you were just to close your eyes and just pick a stock from a list over a period of time. So that end of book theory, right, has I think has been proved, but it means that you have to invest on a longer term basis. And if you see the market falling or going sideways, in order to get cold feet, as long as you have conviction in what you're investing. On the Islamic side, there are a number of websites now available to help people with investing on an Islamic basis. So
if I have opportunity, I will quickly like to share with the members if they can see my screen or not, which I'm sharing. Sorry, just a moment.
Just Mursa, what I'd like to say is, obviously, while let you continue this, there are still quite a few questions, and we are short on time.
Okay, can I add something on this question? This is Khalid Mahmood. I have a great experience of retail clients talking to people one-to-one, and the hadith is spend according to your income. Urdu mein we say in Urdu ke apni chadar ke hisab se paun philao. So that is very important. I have an experience people earning £200,000, £250,000, and they are still in debts, bad debts, personal loans, credit cards, car loans. And those some people who have even earning £50,000, £60,000, they don't have any debts. So it is the best scenario is especially for the bad debts, the good debts, mortgages like these things, that is possible. Obviously, it takes time, 25 years. But the bad debts, if you are stay within your means, within your income, then try to avoid those bad debts. If you're not going to avoid that, then it will increase. This is a suggestion as well.
I hope that's answered the question. There's quite a lot of detail. 3 experts there providing you a response there. I hope that's answered the question. Another question we have is, if returns are so low over a short time, how do we see people earning thousands within a year or even 2 years' time?
You mean they are claiming on social media that they are earning so much?
Possibly, I mean, it could be social media, or it could be maybe they're investing a large amount in maybe a volatile.
I wouldn't take YouTube, TikTok as a qualified place to get information. What I can say is, if they are traders, trading is very different from investing, and trading is the short-term trying to make money out of fluctuations, right? And it's, even if you go on to any website that allow you trading, they have to disclose that 80%, 90% people who do trading lose money. So what people might be seeing on YouTube is the shiny penny, is someone who may have made money and they are showing, okay, they have made it and they have maybe luck with it, or it may be coming from a judgment of 10, 20 years that they've been traders. That's a profession, a separate profession within investment management. There will always be shiny pennies. I would take a pinch of salt and see if they have any credible website or they have written a book about it. there is a credible way to validate what information they are providing, if I've understood your question correctly.
Jazakallah, I think you're saying it does make a big difference in terms of how people are also investing as well. You said day trading is very different to investing as well. So Jazakallah for the response there.
Chef Saab,
Yes,
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Can I just jump in on that?
of
I
course.
think that what Taimur Saab said is absolutely correct. People don't make money by market timing. People always lose money on market timing because you are up against algorithms that are being used by the largest investment banks around the world. So buy and hold strategy has always paid off. Of course, you have to be in the right stocks and the right other asset classes that you may want to consider going forward. And so my suggestion, humble suggestion to all our listeners would be, then as Khalid, Taimur Sahib has said, don't pay attention to all this TikTok stuff going on. You are only going to lose money. Just consult your financial planner and a certified financial planner like these gentlemen, Khalid Sahib and Taimur Sahib, and invest for the long term to meet your goals.
Jazakallah. Thank you, Wasim Saab. The next, there's two questions which are, I guess, they're sort of asking for investment advice here. So I know we can't give this, but maybe the Mursab, you can do some signposting of where people can possibly options, just some general advice of where they can go to get this information. So they've asked what are global shares and how can we achieve the best return on investment, and where do we go for investments? Any websites you can recommend?
Ji, Jazakallah for the question. Very, very important one. First of all, I will say who can advise. MashaAllah, we have Khalid Mahmood in our team, who is a independent financial advisor. He can advise on that area very well. The second question is where they can go and find more information. I have included in the resources a website, which is a website called Just ETFs. And the link I have shared is on the page which shows the Sharia compliant funds listed in the UK. I'm not saying they should invest in it, but this is for your research. You have asked how to find more. So that is one resource. The other resource I have shared is one of the big financial education portal in the UK is a Money Saving Expert. And I have shared the link for starting investing or with the paying off your debts. And if there are charities as well who can help if someone is in a difficulty and don't know how to navigate from there on. And likewise, if there is any question that is not answered in the resources or you don't find, you can always reach out to Sanato Tijarat, and one of us will can help you and educate further as well on your choices.
Jazakallah Taimur Saab. I think there was also a question about someone asking for recommendations on best junior ISA account. So maybe they can also take your advice there on these resources you've just given.
Yeah, absolutely. If they go there, they can find all the information. The important thing is invest in your education. We have lots of hadiths on it. Even Hazrat Masih Maud has emphasized a lot on reading and writing as well. So it's a lifelong learning habit. I think just like we like to do toothbrush at night and morning without thinking, we should be have habit of continuous learning. And I think that is one thing that has helped me from going from bottom to where, alhamdulillah, being comfortable now.
Yeah, Jazakallah. So there's a couple of tax questions again. I'm not sure if this is, but I'll read them out just in case someone else maybe can also, even if yourself, then more sub. So, what with any investments, the problem is the amount of tax that would need to be paid on dividends or when the investment matures. The recent budget example, and someone's also asked what the future tax implications are for on junior stocks and stocks and shares ISA.
Right. So, in my opinion, so all I can share is my opinion, right? We are looking very much into what's happening for us. If we zoom out to Europe or other socialist countries, the tax rates and tax treatment are way higher than what we have in the UK. So if you look at Scandinavian countries, Switzerland, Germany, their taxes are even further higher than what we have in UK. But obviously, then the question comes how efficiently government use those resources to put back for public welfare, right? So we can't control all the changes happening with the budgets as well. All we can do is see how it's going to change. And as Mansoor Saab said as well, investing and looking at these financial topics is a long-term thing. So you are looking at next 5, 10, 20, 30 years, and even including your children's, how they're going to be impacted. So government are making slowly changes. It's like our home mortgage. When interest rate goes up, the mortgage payments goes up. The same thing is with the government. Government has excessively borrowed to keep the country running during COVID, and that has taken the government UK's debts to high level. So think about someone, your loan amount has doubled or tripled, and then you have to pay 3 times more payments. How are you gonna fulfill that obligation? So government has to raise taxes. We can't much control about it. In terms of tax regime, yes, changes are coming. They make some changes to pensions, and they also made, as far as I know, the change they have made is you can put up to maybe £6,000 in cash ISA, and remaining 14,000 into stocks and shares ISA, or 20,000 stocks and share ISA. And when we think about the other point I like to put across is when we are investing, the one shift happened for me is start thinking about that I'm not investing in stock market. I'm becoming a partner in a business. So I'm investing in a business, whether it is just single company or it's a group of companies. So that is something Islam highly encourage we all to do business and do the partnerships as well. So stock market is a medium that allow us to do partnership. And if we think that way, we are not building business or our area of work for a 6 month or a year or 2 years. We are building for long time. And same way goes with the investing. So when we do that, we speak to a professional tax accountant or advisor, and also take professional advice. They can help you to overcome the challenges you are seeing with the taxes. There is always a way forward.
Jazakallah. Just a quick reminder to everyone, we have issued a poll. If everyone could please try to provide a response, it really helps with the feedback in how we can then improve the session if there are any feedback that people do have for the next time. So Jazakallah. I'm very conscious of time, and we do have some more questions. They are in the chat. I believe the Mursab, you will still have access to these to try and provide a response, and we can put that out later. Is that right, Naib Saab?
Gee, I can quickly read. Sorry, go ahead.
So,
Yeah,
yeah, I was going to say the question is one that's two are quite similar regarding, I guess, investment in the markets now, given the volatility of the markets. One's talking about the overvaluation of the stock market, the S&P 500, dominated by tech stock, and due to AI hype. So, what is the recommendation for investing in days like this? When you're looking for basic ETF funds.
Right. Again, it is a advisory question, which I will not be able to say, but I will share the general guidance or my opinion. The first thing is very important is to understand, is to build an habit of saving money. If you're already not doing it, and try to automate it, take yourself out of it. Our banking system allows it. So if your income comes in, you can probably redirect your £100 to another bank account as well. So that is more important thing why you want to save. Performance comes second to that question. I would say if you take baby steps with the bigger goal and take a professional advice, that will help you to see what is a way forward. And markets will go up and down in the past 100 years, and they will continue to do so. The valuation will be, nobody can time the market. There is a study of 30 years that if someone has stayed invested for a long time versus someone has tried to time the market, and if we take out the best growth days out of those 30 years, the 100 days, The performance happen when the market happen unexpectedly, when it's at bottom at that stage, right? If you are trying to time the market, it's not possible for anyone to know it. Allah Ta'ala knows better. But if you miss those 100 days, the performance of your fund or your investment will be 80-90% less than if someone is stay invested. For example, if you have a pension, you don't really buy and sell in your pension, you just continue to contribute, your employers contribute. So that's the way to look at it. And plus, I would say, please do watch Hazur's responses. That will help you a lot how to think about it in long term.
Jazakallah Taimur Sab. Thank you very much for your talk today. It's been very interesting. I hope everyone has benefited from the information that you've given. Jazakallah for everyone that's attending. We are out of time now. So I think we will end it here, and inshallah we'll see everyone again next week for the next talk.
Jazakallah for having me. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.